Okay, it is 6 o'clock. I know we're a little thin. I know traffic for me was a disaster. So as much as I hate not starting on time, I'm going to give us about 5 more minutes so we can get some more of the public here who I hope are on their way, and the rest of our commission members. So we're going to start at 6:05. As we wait to begin, if you'd like to make a public comment, please fill out a public comment card and turn it in to staff, and I will happily call you up when that time comes. Okay, it is 6:05, so we're going to start the meeting. We have plenty of our members here. Yes. I'm sorry? Yeah, no, I was going to say, let's start the countdown. I do need to talk. Good afternoon. It is 6:05, and I will call the April 10th meeting of the Orange County Mid-Decennial Redistricting Advisory Committee meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone. I know traffic was a bit of a challenge for getting here, so I thank the committee for dealing with it and certainly for the general public with dealing with it. Before we begin, I want to just remind you, if you would like to make a comment, and we absolutely want you to make a comment, please fill out a public comment form and give it to staff, and they will bring it to me and we will put you in queue. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Member Olszewski. Sorry.
I think that's you, Bobby.
Member Jackson. Member Kilsheimer. Member De La Portilla. Member Arias. Member Callen.
Here.
Member Jones. Here. Co-Chair Perez.
Here.
Co-Chair Evans. Member Washington. Member Baga. Here. Member Spears. Member Afont. Member Pizzeni. Member Henry.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, at this point, I'm going to open public comment. I'm going to start with Commissioner Uribe, if you'd like to give us greetings. I know that the commissioner in this district is on her way, but she is running late. So, Commissioner Uribe, and thank you for attending every one of our meetings, like you did last time.
It's my pleasure. Commissioner, we were both at the Mayor's Academy graduation, and so I just drove faster. Okay, so that was the only difference. I want to again show how important it is. I'm glad to see the residents coming. Traffic was a bear getting here. I just think it's important for us to continue. One of the reasons why I continue to come to these meetings is because I love the public comment. We really get an opportunity to hear what people are thinking, how they are feeling. But most importantly, I want to thank you all. You guys have been taking a bit of some difficult comments your way, and you did not create this redistricting. The voters actually created us having 8 districts, and I think it's important to know. And what you all are doing is very admirable, because you're trying to make a fair process. You're trying to make an open and inclusive process, and you're really trying to make sure that communities are represented with their new county commissioners. And I want to make sure that you're aware that we see that. It is, I know it feels thankless and sometimes a little bit too difficult, and it's really been weighing on me, and I wanted you to know that we're behind you. And a huge, huge reminder is you never created this redistricting board. None of us as elected officials created this redistricting board. The voters created this redistricting board, and you are the caveats to make sure that there's fair, equal representation for all groups. So we are listening. There is a comment that I did hear last week that I thought was very important, and one that I want you to think about as you are doing your maps and looking at maps is unincorporated and incorporated areas. We really, as electeds, I have 3 cities in my district. I have a significant part of the city of Orlando, the entire city of Belle Isle, and the entire city of Edgewood. And my limitations on what I'm capable of doing really rely on the unincorporated area. I do assist and support my municipalities, but I don't. They have their own elected body, and they have their own rules, and they have their own taxing and all of those things. And I think it's really important that you consider that, because we don't want any commissioners who won't be able to do anything, who will have very limited opportunities in their power of what they represent in the people. And it'd be nice to have that balance as you guys are looking at maps to make sure that each district has a significant unincorporated area. Granted, we vote county-wide at the Board of County Commission, but when issues and cases come before us and we negotiate with the community, it is our job to make sure we look out for the residents that live in that community. So I thank you again for all your time. I want you to know that you all are appreciated. Hopefully you're being fed and have plenty to drink and you're not being dehydrated in this process. And to know we're here with you, and we support you tremendously. So thank you for your service. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Uribe. Commissioner Wilson, you tried to sneak in, but it doesn't work. So I don't know if you'd like to give any remarks. Thank you for being here. Also attended every meeting last time, and so far so good on 100%.
Well, I didn't make it to District 2 last go around, but I watched every minute of it from the fifth floor because I just realized that it was too late to get there. I apologize for my sneakers today, but I got to read in a Head Start classroom this morning, which is so worthy of dressing down, and I would really encourage everybody to visit a Head Start classroom. Orange County has such a great program. Very quickly, this one is just a thank you to you all, and then I'm going to take it to the people here, people that are watching. I think when I hear the public comment, just know we are learning along the way, but I want people to understand that the voters in November essentially made this decision to add 2 new commission districts. It now is law. It goes into our charter. Our charter is our mini constitution, and we're so grateful to be in a charter county where we have the ability to go to the polls and really sculpt our future. That being said, these are the volunteers that stepped up. They are not elected officials that stepped up in order to be able to work through these maps. I think I heard a couple of public comments that sounded like you all were responsible for bringing forward 2 new commission districts, and that's just not the case. It was the voters, and quite frankly, the turnout for the general election was high, and there was a lot of voters that read this amendment and then endorsed the idea of adding 2 new commission districts. So we follow the law. We make sure that we are appointing people who also follow the law, and then we get to pick through all of these things that will come forward to make sure that the most equitable maps are the ones that move ahead. And it is a process. It's a process, but I just invite the public to move with us along the way, knowing the public did endorse this, the public did ask for this. So, and thank you all very much again. I just want to make sure I was defending you, hearing sort of the misinterpretation, I think, of the appointment and of the board that is impaneled here today. You're volunteers, and we are so grateful for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I see former Senator Torres in the room, and I know I've got a speaking card for Mrs. Torres, but Senator, as a matter of courtesy for your service, I don't know if you'd like to just say anything.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and the committee for allowing me to speak for a second. You know, it was 12 years that I served in the legislature, first as a representative for 4 years right here, District 48, and then as a senator for this district as well. A couple of years ago, during the census in 2020, it was noted, and I was up in the Senate, that District 25 was the #1 in population growth for the Latino community in the state. In the country, we were #3 in the census for growth in population. Representing the community in a whole gave me that enthusiasm that we needed to have more representation, county-wise, city-wise, and the state, and the Congress as well. But as you know, the governor took over the redistricting, the allotment of the seats, and we're here today as a result of the community responding to this. And it's a task that you have to look at how you represent those constituents that, by the way, move in here 1,000 families a day into this community, and you see the growth. And we have to see how we can help the families adjust here in Florida. We have a long task. We have a lot of issues, not only in Tallahassee, but in Washington. And you know that. But I watch every day, and I see what's going on. But I expect the integrity, the respect, the dedication that each one of you have to represent and to make a good judgment here for the community of District 4 in South Chase and in Orange County. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak before you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Senator, and I'm sorry I caught you off guard. I didn't give you any warning, but Still thought I wanted to hear from you. I know Commissioner Cordero is on her way. I don't think she's arrived. So when she does arrive, I will put her in queue. We very much appreciate all of our commissioners attending these meetings because they don't have to. So what we've got, because of the timing last week, we now have 4 chairs up front. So instead of calling one name and the next name, I'm going to call 4 names and a speaker. So you can, if you don't mind, when I call your name, sit in order, because then it'll be quicker to get people up to the microphone. Although, so far, we don't have the 40 folks that we had last week. So I'll say one more time, if you'd like to speak, please fill out a speaker's card and give it to staff, and we would love to hear from you. That is what we're here for. So we're going to begin the public comment. First speaker will be Anthony Jackson. And then the next speakers, if you don't mind taking a place in those chairs, Bernice Baptiste, Carmen Torres, Dr. Latanya Nichols, and Elijah Jean-Baptiste. Let's see if this will be a little more efficient. And clerk, if you'll note that Mr. Arias has arrived. Thank you. Mr. Jackson, is this?
Good
All
evening.
Right. You have 3 minutes. If you'll just state your name and address.
My name is Anthony Jackson. I live at 4404 Sebastian Way, Pine Hills, right off of North Lane in District 2. And I would like to speak about my hope that Pine Hills gets redistricted as one district. Currently, I am a part of District 2, but I have not seen as much involvement from our commissioner, from my commissioner, as I have seen for District 6, who is also commissioner over Pine Hills. I see her attending events at Lockhart, Rosemont, all sorts of things, but I feel like Pine Hills isn't really being as treated as it should. I feel like she's neglecting it, and that not the same from District 6. I see him at events, and not to say that she's not doing her job, it's just saying that it might be too much for her, not being able to actively participate in what's happening in the area that she's over. It shows that like a large community such as ours should be a part of one district. Even Commissioner Scott over District 6, he may not be at everything, which shows that even though we do have 2 commissioners, we're not being properly represented. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Next up will be Bernice Baptiste. However, I did spy Commissioner Cordero come in. And Commissioner, if you'd like to make any remarks. You take your time, Commissioner.
Thank you. So, good evening, everyone. Buenas noches a todos. Thank you, all of you, for your volunteer time and, to help us go through this. And, this is something that was, requested by the community, and it went to vote, and then, so we need all of your expertise to go through this. Sorry that I get in now. It was the Mayor's Academy graduation today, and he is on his way also. He wants to come through, so he will be coming any time. So, solamente para decirles gracias a todos los que están aquí. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. Esto que está pasando aquí, para los que están en español, esto es un voto que se dio para extender los distritos en el condado. Ustedes saben que ahora somos 6 distritos. There are 6 districts. There are now going to be 2 more, so it will be 8 districts, and the mayor will be 9 votes. Van a ser 9 votos. Y esto fue en las elecciones pasadas que se aprobó. So, para las que no sepan, todos los que están aquí, ellos están discutiendo, yendo a todos los distritos para explicar qué es lo que van a hacer para hacer un mapa nuevo con los distritos nuevos, para que usted sepa después dónde usted va a votar, qué es lo que usted va a hacer. So, todo eso va a estar, bien detallado, bien explicado, pero todos hay que trabajarlo ahora porque en las elecciones del 2026 es cuando se va a poner los 2 nuevos comisionados. So in 2026, in the elections of 2026 is when the new commissioners are coming on board, after, the map is approved and all of that. I'm just telling them in Spanish because I have a lot of residents here that only Spanish speak it. So, diciendo esto, lo que quiero decirle es que ya yo termino en el 2026, so no tengo que ver nada con cómo va el distrito, pero siempre voy a estar aquí apoyando. So, saying this, even though my term is over in 2026, I'm still going to be here to support you and to be here for the community. So thank you, y para adelante. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Okay, the fifth position, if you'll take a seat up there, will be Jim Callahan. Our next speaker is Bernice Jean-Baptiste.
Good evening, Redistricting Board. My name is Bernice Jean-Baptiste, and I am a senior at the Prestigious Evans High School. My address is 4949 Silver Star Road. Today I come as a representative of FLU, also known as Future Leaders United, after-school enrichment and mentoring program, led by Mrs. Sandra Fatimi Hall, as well as the Pine Hill Community Council. Currently, we have 2 commissioners. One commissioner focuses on pleasantries and outward appearances, while the other one focuses on the voices of the youth. As you can see, the 2 commissioners have 2 very different ideas for Pine Hill that juxtapose or conflict with each other. So what do you think splitting us into 8 districts and setting 8 commissioners would do to me and my community? This all seems like a very deliberate and systematic way of instituting gerrymandering to keep what we want for our community, which is made up of largely a minority demographic at the bottom of your list of important concerns. I have been exposed to this already when I attended the previous meeting and I witnessed Pine Hills and its people already being split and divided as North and South Pine Hills. Therefore, I come on behalf of my friends, families, and FLU members and communities to say Pine Hills should stay as one with one commissioner, and I will not tolerate or settle for anything other than that. Having one elected commissioner or representative is the only way for Pine Hills to thrive because it would make it easier for our voices to be heard, but also hold them accountable if you disregard what we want for our community. Again, I would like to reinforce that redistricting will cause problems for the community and the youth, such as school and transportation. Many of my friends would not be able to get bus rides to schools, and we would end up in different schools. People would be relocated and split between different districts. I had the opportunity to see different schools in the area coming from Evans High School as a member of the top 10 graduating class of mine, and I've been in honor classes my whole life. I've always seen and felt like the opportunities are lacking to better my education. At other schools, high-achieving students provide study halls and more for them. Meanwhile, my school can barely get funding for additional courses. And this is so bewildering to me because I'm a person who loves education and expand my knowledge in all areas. There are many smart and educated people in my community whose voices aren't heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jean-Baptiste. Carmen Torres. And as you come, thank you for loaning your husband for public service for so many years.
Yes, thank you for
We appreciate
having
it
me,
very
actually.
much.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you all for volunteering to do this work. My husband did allude to the fact that we actually have about 1,000, maybe 1,200 people moving in on a daily basis. What I'm concerned about is what data will you be using to redraw the districts, and would it be the census numbers, what year? And because I'm concerned about the equitable, amount of folks who are going to be in each of those districts. And this area here has just exploded with housing and whether it's rental apartment houses or just homes. It's unbelievable the amount of people that have moved here since the 2020 census. So basically that is my concern. How is this going to work? What data will you be using to make sure that these districts will be equitable? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Torres. So next in queue will be Vicky Vargo, and Marvin Mondasir to replace the two that just spoke. And our next speaker is Dr. Latanya Nichols.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Latanya Nichols, 6500 Arundel Drive, Orlando, Florida, and I'm a proud Pine Hills resident. And I wanted to first off thank the advisory board. The meeting that we attended and had at the Multicultural Center March 27th, we started out looking at maps, and it was very engaging. And for a lot of folks that don't look at maps and data, it's very cumbersome and confusing when you don't know what you're looking at. I've spent about 10 hours looking at that map and looking at the maps that are currently there. And as someone that works in research, accountability, and grants, I now have a better understanding by going through those maps that are already present as to what folks are thinking about as they are drawing the lines and redistricting. There are currently 10 maps that are there that I saw published that are looking at redistricting and rezoning along West Colonial Drive, primarily as to what I saw in the published maps. There's a base map that's there, as well as a map that relates to the number of district leaders that are currently in their seats. So what I'm asking folks to do as they're looking at these maps, and you all will have that opportunity, I'm sure, as you start looking at the data, is to consider, as the Fluites have indicated, is to consider the minority distribution that we're seeing in some of those maps. And I've noticed that some of them that are currently there have negative 4.5s and above when it talks and looks at the minority line there in that column. That is crucial when we start looking at the number of individuals that are 60% or more minority, and then looking at the number of individuals that are voting and that are of the ethnicity groups that are there. So it's essential that we consider those things. And as folks are looking at those maps and having time to digest what's there and understanding the lines that we're seeing quite a bit as far as Pine Hills representatives. We're seeing quite a bit of distribution where there are more other individuals other than minorities that are there. And so the lines are being drawn at Colonial and headed northbound, and then they go east all the way over into Eatonville, and in some cases into Maitland. And so when we consider that and looking what's already being drawn out, and we, Pine Hills Community Council, will be submitting a map as well. Will we submit 10 maps? Probably not, right? But we are very focused and strategic on what is necessary in our community for redevelopment and for economic growth. And so when we have the conversations, even with our Fluites and residents, we're talking about growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nichols. We normally will not respond to comments because we're here to listen and not debate. But Attorney White, I'm unaware of any maps that have been submitted by any committee members, correct?
Well, there is something that we'll be discussing later. I think there was an attempt to submit a map, but we'll be discussing that during the housekeeping portion. But otherwise, no, there have not been any maps considered submitted by a committee member.
So I just want to be clear. The general public can go in and make a map and make it show up, but we are not in control of any of those, and most of us haven't looked at those. If you want to submit a map as a member of the general public, you need to go to one of us and have it endorsed by one of the commission members before we will even consider it. So, Dr. Nichols, I very much appreciate your comments, but those maps have not been created by anybody up here. There may be a base map, which is just an example and a starting point, but nobody has endorsed and nobody has put forward any of those maps yet. So. Well, I know they're up there, you said, so I understand other people may have submitted maps, but none of those are maps that we are considering yet. But I more than anything wanted to make the point that said if you do want to submit a map, as a member of the general public, You need to get it endorsed by one of the commission members who will then bring it forward on your behalf. Elijah Jean-Baptiste, and I only have Eugene Staccato to fill in the empty seat, and after that I am out of public comment. So if anyone wishes to speak, please fill out a form. Elijah.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Elijah Jean-Baptiste, and I am a freshman at Evans High School. I would like to speak about the area of Pine Hills.
I need your address just for the record.
I'm
Elijah.
sorry.
It's okay.
I live at 4949 Silverstar Lane, and currently we are split into two different districts, which is District 2 and District 6, with Silverstar Road as kind of a border per se. Now, this decision has unnecessarily divided our community. One example of this is when I was attending one of our Pine Hills Community Council meetings, and it was brought to my attention that a lady was wearing a North Pine Hills shirt. I found this quite significant, considering how Pine Hills is only 12 square miles, yet we have two different identities, a North and South identity, yet we're not even big enough to have this. So, I say all this to say this. What good is a community divided? If we can't even join together, how can we tackle bigger issues? Here's a start. Combining Pine Hills into one district. A community is a group of people together, not apart. Thank you.
Thank you, Elijah. Next up is Jim Callahan.
Jim Callahan, 204 East South Street, Orlando. And I, too, want to thank you for your time, especially for your drive out tonight. I found it adventurous as well.
That's a good word.
Also want to thank whoever provided the high school district map. I found that interesting. I guess it'll be more of a tiebreaker or something because they're not equal population, so you can't directly use them as like districts. But, you know, it does give some idea of what might be outlines of communities. Therefore, I go back to what I said before on looking at the legislative district maps for the state house districts, because those are approximately the right size. That's just a starting point, because we can't use those either because they don't respect the municipal boundaries as much as we need to. So that's my 2 cents. I yield the balance of my time.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan. Vicky Vargo, and again, if you'd like to make public comment, we're down to our last 3, and once we close public comment, we will not reopen. So please, if you'd like to make a comment, let staff know. Ms. Vargo.
Vicky Vargo, 3800 Winged Foot Court, Orlando, Florida, 32808. So I'm here today to give you a little bit of history about this neighborhood, Meadow Woods and Buenaventura, in case you're not familiar with it. So my first job out of law school was with the law firm of Anderson and Rush, and Robert Anderson sat on the board of directors of AmeriFirst, and Jim Rush sat on the board of directors of Coral Gables Federal, both savings and loan. And we represented a lot of home builders, including Landstar Homes. And so I was a part of creating and doing a lot of the initial home closings for Meadow Woods and Buenaventura Lakes. So just some history. The developer is from a family-owned. Landstar is a family-owned business of Puerto Rican descent. And their bank was Puerto Rican, and their entire marketing focus was to the people living on the island who wanted to get off the island, and the people the Puerto Ricans living in the Northeast who wanted to get out of the snow. Thus, we have Rhode Island Woods Court. So I know there's been, question in the area, like, where did all these Puerto Rican folks come from? Well, it was very intentional on the part of Landstar Homes, and I'm proud to be that I was a part of creating Meadow Woods and Buenaventura Lakes, and I hope that you'll be able to keep those communities together. Now, just a couple things as to Pine Hills. So Commissioner Moore in her defense. She does a great job. So she can't always come to the Pine Hills Council meetings because she's got conflict, but she's very neighborhood focused. So if you go to, and she works on neighborhood corridors. So last year we worked on Powers Drive in District 2. We planted 36 trees along Powers Drive to try and keep the tractor trailers from parking out in front of Beacon Hill and some of those neighborhoods. My husband and I are watering those trees, but if anybody from the Pine Hills Community Council wants to help, please do. We would appreciate your help. But Pine Hills, in case you don't know, is basically from Colonial Drive up to Clear Ocoee Road, abuts up to Ocoee, then to Rosemont, which is a City of Orlando neighborhood, goes down around Evans, and then Mercy Drive is in the city. Then it kind of skirts around, I want to say Clear Lake, not Clear Lake. It's missing. But then Barnett Park down to Colonial Drive. So that's the basic boundaries of Pine Hills. So hopefully we can keep that community together, because I know they want to be more together. But I just want to say that Commissioner Moore has worked very hard in District 2, even though she hasn't attended the meetings.
Thank you, Ms. Fargo. I have 2 public comment cards left in my hand, maybe some more coming up here. Okay, good. Marvin Mondesir. I probably said that wrong. If so, I'm sorry. I gave you the little Latin thing to it there. Thank you.
My address is 4949 Silver Star Road. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marvin Mondesir. I'm a senior at Evans High School. I am here to speak on how the proposed redistricting will affect me, my family, and the Pine Hills community. Evans High School isn't just a school. It's a second home for many of us, fluites and students. This redistricting plans will break that bond. It will separate students and disrupt families and put us in places where we feel safe, supported, and set up to succeed. With education fund already decreasing rapidly, this change will make things harder for us, students and Pine Hills residents who are really doing our best to thrive. I urge you to consider the voice of students and families and community members. We are not just numbers or map. We are people with live dreams and the proud resident of the Pine Hills community. We deserve to stay together.
Thank you, Mondesir. Mr. Mondesir, sorry. Okay, next up, I did get one more speaker card, and that is Sandra Fatima Hall. If you will move to one of the chairs, and you will follow Mr. Staccato. Mr. Staccato.
Good evening. This is Eugene Staccato, 331 Roswell Avenue, and I appreciate all the volunteerism that you all do. I know the feeling of it. To explain a little why we're here tonight, you can throw darts at me because I wasn't a charter commissioner who actually voted for this to go before the voters. And a little history on that. This came before the CRC, the Charter Review Commission, for at least 3 times, maybe more, over the last 12 years. And we ultimately decided, let's put it before the voters and see where it's going to sit with them. And it passed. So this is why we're sitting here. So people like me were the reason why this got before the voters. I'm coming as a league voter person. I am drawing maps with the league. And what I wanted to address was, it's really important to the citizens, not so much them, it's the citizens of this county and people who are watching us on TV, that the league, particularly, we're trying to create fair districts based on our policies within our organization. And it's really important for the citizens of the county to come out and get their 2 points out, because it's really important for us to understand when we're drawing, because we're not experts. We don't live around the entire county. We might have been here for 50 years like me, but I don't know everything. But it's really important for the community, like Pine Hills coming out and saying what they say, because then we understand, oh, this community is important. Because I can draw districts based on JPAs, rural areas, the CRAs, and other issues, but I don't know all the little communities that are out there of interest, and I don't want to split that. So I need to hear that. So it's really important for the citizens of this county to come out and get their 2 cents here. So it's critical. So again, thank you for everyone's service. And as a league person, this is a great thing. I come to all of them, as you know, to listen to the people. And I normally don't speak, but tonight I think it's important that the citizens know that you guys are listening, and it helps us draw better maps, all of us, when people come out and speak. And we want to do that. We don't want to draw biased maps, personally, and I don't think anyone here before me would do that. So it's critical that the citizens get out and get their 2 cents and represent their districts and their special interest. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Staccato. Our final speaker, unless there's someone else who wants to fill out a speaker's card, which would be just fine, is Sandra Fatima Hall. Fatmi Hall, sorry.
Good evening, Commissioners. Good evening, Redistricting Board. I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening. I hate to follow my young people because they've done such an outstanding job. Just imagine we have almost 200 of them that wanted to voice their opinion and have something to say. That means they care about their community. I just wanted to reiterate some of the things that was said in terms of Pine Hills. It's important that we understand that keeping us together, our young people have told you what that means, right? So I don't need to reiterate that. But I also want to address that when we are an area that have 2 commissioners and we make excuses, well, they can't be everywhere, we understand that. That is very clear to us. We know you can't be everywhere. But when things are important to you, that's what people show up to. And we have only been represented on one side, and I want that to be clear. So we're advocating for one because we feel that's what would make us whole, right? And we don't feel whole right now. And I know we keep saying it, but we have to so that someone will listen. In order for us to be recognized, we must be organized. Thank you all this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Fatmi Hall. Are there any others who wish to make public comment? Anyone else? Staff, do we have any public comment cards? Okay, seeing none, I will close public comment at this time and move into review and approval of our minutes. The minutes were posted online. They're also in your package for tonight. Got a motion to approve the minutes with a second. Is there any discussion, changes, deletions?
I have a small Scrivener's error.
Oh, thank you.
On page 2 of the minutes, one of the speakers is listed as Leroy Bell, and his name is spelled with 2 L's at the end of Bell.
All right. Thank you, Joe. Any other changes, deletions, corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, will someone call a question? Question is called. All in favor of approval of the minutes, please say aye. Aye. And opposed, same sign. The minutes are approved. We'll move into administrative matters and review of schedule. Attorney White, are you handling all of this for us tonight?
I think I'll be tag teaming with Mr. Scraben.
Okay.
So I'll allow him to go first.
Scott.
Sure, absolutely. So our next meeting is next Tuesday, April 15th. It will be at the Goldenrod Recreation Center in District 5. The address is 4863 North Goldenrod Road, Winter Park, Florida, 32792.
Is that it? Attorney White carries all the rest of the water tonight? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Attorney White.
So I have a question to present to you all. Member Arias brought to our attention that he attempted to submit a map before the deadline of yesterday. I'll allow him to speak further on that, but if you all would like to, I would require a majority vote. You can slightly deviate from your rules of procedure and deem the map and the agenda request form to be timely submitted. And if you all do that, then it will go on the agenda for Tuesday's meeting as an informational item.
And then we would review it the following week. So we would just post it as informational. Is that what you're suggesting?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Member Arias, would you like to make any comments, or did that cover it for you?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, what I found was, thank you. What I found was I was trying to submit the map through the email provided to me by the county, and every time I would attach the map, which is a zip drive, and try to send it to the designated email, the email that was given to me would not allow me to send the zip drive to the designated email. So I took, do I need to tell them what I did?
Sure, just for everyone's
Yeah.
benefit.
So what I did was, in my frustration, quite honestly, and I really tried to solve this problem all day, and I wasn't able to. In fact, I think I spent 2 days on it, and I wasn't able to. I called Art Bridge, I called Scott, I called Pete, I called everyone that I could think of, and I was just frustrated. So I took the email from that the government gave me, that the county gave me. I sent it to my private law office email, and then I sent it to the designated email with my law office email, because there was no restriction on the zip drive from my law office email. So I don't think at the end of the day that map was even looked at by all of you, because my understanding is after my attempts, they made some adjustments, and then I went back and they emailed me and said, hey, look, we made some adjustments, and I think you can try again. So then I tried again, I think today, and with today I was able to submit the map to the designated email with the designated email that was given to me by the county. So whatever the holdup was the zip drive that I had attached to my designated email, but apparently that's been fixed, because I tried to send it today and it worked today. So I did send it yesterday. It's the same map. I sent it again today, and I tried to send it yesterday, probably around 6 or 6:30, or I think around that time, because I was trying to make the deadline and I didn't want to miss the deadline. But honestly, it doesn't make a difference to me whether you guys want to discuss my map next time or the time after. I was just trying to move the process along, and today I was able to submit my map with my designated email to the correct designated email with the map, and it was a zip drive, so it works now.
Great, thank you.
So that's the whole story.
Thank you, Mark. Scott, has this been fixed?
Yeah, so we're going to modify the process a little bit, working with the consultant. I'll send those instructions out tomorrow. I didn't get a chance today. I apologize that you went through so much frustration. The first one in tends to be the one that causes the most trouble for us. But now we've got it worked out. I will send those instructions.
It's no fun to be the first one there.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So we're not going to send the zip files. Now we're going to share the link, and then the consultant's going to download there. So we'll get around that zip problem. So I'll send those instructions out to the committee tomorrow.
Thank you, Scott. Bobby, you were in queue. You're good? Okay. So the question is, and I would support this question, whether or not we deem Mark's map as accepted, as submitted yesterday to meet the 4-day before the next meeting deadline, which means if we do this, it would show up as an information item next week. We wouldn't be discussing it, but it would start the process of staff review and consultant review and that sort of thing. And then the following week, that map would be on our agenda for discussion purposes. Does anyone have a feeling in either direction? Rishi?
Chair, I think we should go ahead and allow this. Certainly, the attempt was made to do it within the time allotted, and I think it's probably helpful for us in this process to go ahead and start getting maps that we can take a look at and that are submitted. And it's certainly been helpful to work out the kinks. So I would, be happy to move that we, and please feel free to alter my motion as necessary, but to basically to move to alter our procedure, or to create an exception to our procedure for this submitted map to deem it accepted for purposes of showing it as an informational item for next week's meeting.
Okay, so I have a motion from Rishi Baga, and a second from Jimmy Ofant, or James Ofant, sorry, Jim, to deem as timely filed the map that Mr. Arias has submitted or attempted to submit yesterday and submitted today. Bobby, you're up in queue.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a question for you and for our general counsel here. If we deviate our rules today, are we deviating and setting the precedence to deviate them for any issue that comes up from the rest of our assigned time here on this committee?
The answer to that would be no. We have the ability in extraordinary circumstances, like a technical problem with a member who tried to submit and submitted literally from his office, but not through the portal because of technical difficulties. This committee can deviate by majority vote any of the rules of procedure that we approved, as long as Camille and I agree. So the chairs need to agree. She's not here, so I will agree on her behalf. You know what? That's what happens. God bless her. She's out of town with her child. I would never attack her. She's smarter than me. But no, this doesn't set a precedent unless we have another technical difficulty that frustrates a member. But that's a great question. Thank you, Bobby. Does anyone else want to speak? Oh, Sean, Attorney White.
Yes, Sean, that's fine. Two things. I just want to clarify this. We're only bringing this forward to you all because the difficulties that Member Arias had were through no fault of his own. So we wanted to make that clear. And secondly, Member Arias and to the rest of the committee, please do not forget to include your agenda request form with your map as well. That is in your rules of procedure, so I just want to remind everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? No. Oh, okay, the question has been called. What we are voting on is deeming as accepted the map that was attempted to be provided by Mr. Arias through the portal. Our technology didn't work for him. He submitted it yesterday, not through the portal, and then today through the portal, which means if we approve this, it will be on the informational agenda for next week and then to be considered the following week. And the question has been called. I don't think we're going to need a roll call vote for this, so I'll just say all in favor of approving the motion from Rishi, please say aye. Aye. And any opposed? Thank you. Any other administrative matters, Attorney White?
That was it from the legal end. Scott?
So I'll just make mention, the next submittal deadline is the 16th of April, so next week, Wednesday. So if anyone wants to submit a map, that's the next cutoff date.
And I would mention to the general public, if you have a map that you would like submitted, again, reach out to one of our committee members, consult with them. They need to adopt your map and submit it as theirs. You'll have the ability at that meeting, if the member wishes to ask you to come up and speak and present and tell us what you were thinking, you'll have the ability to do that, but the maps do need to go through one of us, and all of our emails are on the website. Alejandro.
Just a quick question. Good evening, everyone. We've heard Dr. Nichols mentioning seeing 10 maps, and I think we heard other members of the public mentioning maps as well. I just want to make sure that there's no visibility to maps that were saved within the redistricting software that perhaps members of the public are having access to, and that may be causing some confusion.
Sure. Thank you, Alejandro. Yes, we have no maps other than Mr. Arias submitted. Ms. Vargo has placed a map in the queue. It has not been accepted yet by any member. Doesn't mean it won't. But I'm unaware of 10 maps that are out there. Scott?
So the redistricting software allows you to publish a map, anyone from the citizens, so others can take that map, they can edit it, they can share it, they can make comments. That's a feature of the software. So I took a look this afternoon. There are a number. One person submitted at least 10 different versions of maps, just one single person. So there are quite a bit up there that people have started to create.
Gotcha. But none of us have been consulted as far as endorsing or supporting. Great, thank you. Ms. Jackson.
Hi, thank you. In trying to understand the zoning of the schools and how this is all going to play and, how we redistrict the maps, Does the software give us any indication how the schools are zoned currently?
We have an overlay that shows the school districts, but we have nothing to do with school district rezoning, where a young person goes to school. That is not us, that is the school board.
Gotcha.
We just have that as an informational overlay because it seems as though that may lend to us understanding where the natural community lines are. But we are not guided by that. We are not required to consider that. And we absolutely, positively have no impact on where these young people go to school.
Okay, thank you.
David.
Thank you. I'm not too sure if this is appropriate for this part of the meeting. However, it is regarding the sunshine laws. Would that be appropriate to speak about?
Absolutely.
Right now?
Go ahead, please.
Great. So the question is, if there are two members, one acting in their role with the advisory board, the other not in their role with the advisory board, at a civic meeting, at a public meeting, can they be at the meeting at the same time?
Yes, so there's no prohibition on you all being around each other. You just cannot discuss the official business, any official business that will come before you all. So if you recall at our first
Right.
meeting, I just said it's just best to err on the side of caution and avoid the conversation altogether. That way there's no mishaps.
Okay, so if this civic organization wanted to hear more about the redistricting process from a member of the board, the two cannot be together at that meeting.
They can be together, but it's worth noticing. If you'll just let staff know that you're going to be there. I mean, I've been reached out to for Camille and I to possibly speak. And any time we are both there, and even one of us is talking about business of the board, it should be a noticed public meeting.
Okay.
And staff will handle that if you'll just let them know.
Correct.
But what is the timeline? Is it a week advance?
Scott, I believe it's 5 days.
Yeah, I think it's a business week. I'm not positive.
5 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just
5
make
days.
sure that staff knows with enough time to notice that meeting.
Okay, so I'll speak with you afterwards and give you more
Sure.
information.
Sure.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Great. Any other administrative matters? We know what our schedule is. We know where we'll be next week. Anyone else have anything to bring up administratively? Okay, if not, presentation of maps, we have none. So we can skip over that part of our agenda. This is going to be a very quick meeting. We've got just general discussion, and it really comes down to what we're thinking, feeling, hearing. I've got Tom Callan. Tom.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chair. It's nice to be here tonight, folks. This is a really nice center.
It's beautiful.
It really is nice, and thank you for your comments. Your comments are what's shared by District 6 and District 2 of the importance of us to recognize the emerging demographic trends in the county and keeping communities together. And, we found out last redistricting that 38% of the county was identified as Caucasian, 31% Hispanic, 19% African American, and 20% other. And within the 20% other, 10% said other. And it's all spread around the districts. Most districts are purple. It's all spread out. So it's kind of interesting how Orlando's developed. My own neighborhood in Audubon Park is very eclectic. All people are in my neighborhood. And so that's the trend we see. And our kids are accelerating that trend, which is good. So I like the comments. That's important to recognize the emerging growth of the Hispanic population in Central Florida and in Orange County. And so I think we're all going to be looking at that to make sure that that representation stays and make sure everyone has a seat at the table. However, when we do this, the state law requires, and federal law, that the composition of the ethnicity of our citizens is not really a consideration we should look at. We need to look at compactness, neighborhoods, and those kinds of things. And I think when you apply the criteria of the state and federal law, we'll find out that we can achieve the goals that people are talking about, but still apply the state and federal requirements without stepping out of bounds, so to speak. So I just want to make that comment. Look forward to this process. I think staff's done a wonderful job, and I think our chair's done a wonderful job, and co-chairs. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Jimmy.
Okay, I want to start with something different tonight. I am impressed with the youth of Pine Hills. I want to congratulate you because I think we have a future. Sometimes those of us like Tico and I who are old.
Thank you, Jimmy.
You didn't expect that one, did you? Okay. Sometimes we think that we don't have much of a future, but seeing you guys here tonight really makes me feel good. And I'm going to make a commitment to you. I did this last week. I have made the maps based on where I've been. I have already, with tonight, I should have 4 of the 8 precincts drawn up. I have the other 4 in my head, but I'm going to make the same promise. You are right. There's no reason why a community of 12 miles of more than 60,000 people is split in 2 other than some of the old-fashioned thinking that we've done and we need to get away from. For the record, there's no reason to use Colonial Drive anymore as a dividing line. The only reason it was created by the city of Orlando was so we could connect and each commissioner have a little bit of downtown Orlando. Even though they don't represent it and have no control over it, that was the reason to have Colonial Drive. That also created a problem that many communities like Union Park were divided because they used that. Ocoee, into 2020, when I made a stinker out of it, was divided simply because they used Colonial Drive. So what I'm going to say to you is, in my map, roads are only going to be to make sure that the communities are together, each and every one of them. But we're going to 8 now, and I'm going to repeat this to everybody. Each of the 6 existing districts are going to have to lose 70,000 people, okay? You cannot stay the same way you are. And like our chairman said the last time, we did not make this happen. You did. You voted for it, and now we will make you a map that would represent you. But I think that one of the things I really want to say here tonight, it takes a lot to impress me, and you guys did it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. Jason. Jason?
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for all of the wonderful, I'm sorry, may I just take a point of privilege to say that Congressman Frost's mom's in the audience. All right. But thank you all so much for being here, for making your voices heard. To the students of FLU, Pine Hills, you all have been at every single meeting. As a District 6 representative, I hear you. I know the commissioners hear you as well. To Jimmy's point, though, I just want to ensure that we all know that we all have to lose something. Like each district does have to lose something. We are going to try our best to listen and to understand what you all are looking for, because that's part of our job. But I just don't want to make a commitment to anything up here right now because we're still listening. We're just in District 4 tonight. We have more districts to go. We have more voices to listen to. So I just want to encourage you all from Pine Hills to other communities to ensure that your neighbors are coming out to speak, but also that we have a lot of work ahead of us, but we all have to lose something. Each district does. And so that may make it difficult to keep every single community in Orange County together. We're going to try our best, but I don't want to commit to anything until we hear from all those voices. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Jason. I just saw Mayor Deming sneak in the house. I don't know, Mayor Demings, if you want to give us some words. We've heard some great things from young people and members of this district. We're out here listening. This is our 3rd or 4th? This is our 4th. 3rd? This is our 3rd district that we've been in. We got 3 more to go. But we're having fun and we're learning a lot, Mayor.
All right. Let me just say good evening to all of you. I know that things have been going fairly well, a lot of active participation. That's really what we want to see from Orange County. We want to make certain that our citizens are engaged in part of the process. as we endeavor to redraw the district boundaries. We can't do that without having the input of all of you who are here. Ultimately, that means that we'll come out with a better new map in 2026 when we expand to 2 additional districts here within the county. Representation matters. Of course, you all see what happens. We're at a crossroads now where there's a lot of political divide and a lot of people have some uncertainty about our future, but you get to play a role, all of you who are here tonight, and I love seeing these young people from the Pine Hills area who are here participating in the process, because ultimately those elected officials who will come out of these new boundaries will be some of the key decision makers here for Orange County. And I have to say thank you to all of you who are volunteering your time to make sure that the process is fair, that you get the type of input, and to the leadership here, I'm forever grateful. We had our first graduation tonight of the Mayor's Citizens Academy in Espanol, so it was completely in Spanish. I got to speak Spanish tonight. I think they understood most of what I said. So in either case, I'm just here to observe. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving me the opportunity to say a few words. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have, Alejandro.
I just want to take the time to also echo Jason's comments, and I appreciate Member Alphonse's comment about, trying to keep communities together, but every district will be reduced by roughly 25%. That's a lot of residents. And, we're looking at areas that have density and also areas that are within the perimeter or the boundaries of other districts. So there's bound to be some change. And, the comments from the members of the Pine Hills community are wonderful, and you've been very active, and we're all taking that into account. I live in District 6. I've been living in District 6 for 30 years, so I understand how important this process is. Rest assured, we're listening to your comments, but we have other districts to visit. We have to get through the process before we really can get down to reviewing these maps and having serious discussions about it, because we do need to hear from other districts as well. But again, your comments are appreciated, and our goal as a group is to find a solution that will work best for everyone, but there will be changes. I just want to make sure that's stated, because it's difficult to commit to keeping every community together.
Thank you. David?
Yes. Again, I have a question for Dan Hill. It's very easy. I see a display. I presume it's from the Supervisor of Elections office, and I don't know if that was there last week, but I just want to point it out.
Yes, Dan Helm from the Supervisor of Elections Office. We brought our team today, our GIS team and our communications officer. We have a map where we show our islands. So if you are interested in what islands look like on the big map and how you can draw out our islands, so we no longer have islands in Orange County, please come visit our map. We are not advocating for anything, but there are simple displays, including in this district, on how you can turn 25 voters but not split their precincts, so that they can have just one voting tabulation machine, one polling place, one set of election workers. So please come visit our display. If you also want to update your vote by mail, re-enrollment, or register to vote, please come visit us. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here and bringing that. We had a great presentation, if some of you weren't there, at our second meeting from the Supervisor of Elections, just kind of explaining how all the precincts are aligned and what they're going to have to do when we are done, and trying to avoid creating islands where we split 25 people out of one precinct and put it in another precinct and cost them a great deal of time, money, and effort, and confusion for the voters. So they've been great partners thus far. I very much appreciate you bringing the team. Thank you, Deanne, for coming out, and everyone else. So if you want to just see the map, that would be great. I have no other speaking requests. Does anyone else have any additional? Oh, I got two more now. Wonderful. Attorney White.
Yes. So I just wanted to offer a point of information for everyone. There's been a lot of discussion and comments about whether or not we will be supplementing the population data. And I just want to reiterate for everyone that we have to start with the decennial census data as a baseline. That is required by law. We can also supplement that data with data from the American Community Survey, which is sort of a subsidiary of the census. However, the most recent data that we have for the American Community Survey is from 2023. They have not released the 2024 data yet, and from what I've seen, they will not be releasing it until we are almost done with this process. So just for everyone's benefit, the most recent data that we have is from 2023. And I'm sure there'll be further discussion at the next meeting about that.
And please correct me if I'm wrong, but that data is all estimates. There's no certainty in any of that data, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Attorney White. Mark.
I just wanted to share with the board, or guide the board a little bit from my frustration from trying to submit my first map.
He's still frustrated, no doubt about that.
I'm still frustrated. I'm still suffering. I've got PTSD from it. You can sit on it and you can tweak it and you can change it and you can tweak it. And when you come up with lines and you start playing with it, you can find yourself. It's a never-ending story, quite honestly. If you haven't tried it, you need to try that. And if you take away from one area and then population goes up and then the population goes down over here and then you try to equal it, and then at some point you just have to say this is the best I can do for now, and then trust the process.
Right.
Trust you guys to review the map and then hopefully see, because after a while, and as a lawyer, you'll relate to this, Tom, if you look at the same document over and over and over and over again, you need a new set of eyes. Because you see what you think you see, but it's not really there anymore. And so my point is, don't get frustrated, play with it, and I hope that when you see the map, my map, it doesn't bother me at all if you want to tweak it up and cut it up. Because after looking at it, as long as I looked at it and staring at it, you just realize that this is very frustrating. So you have to trust the process and hope that all of your eyes will help. That's all.
Thank you, Mark. And I do want to remind the public, when we just approved Mr. Arias's map to go on to information next week, it will be up next week as a sponsored map, so it's absolutely worth your time to look at it and comment. It'll be up that whole week as a spot. We will look. We'll post it now because we have it. Next week it becomes informational. The following week we will discuss and vote on it. So there's like 10 days there to take a look at that map, and if you've got comments or issues about that, there's public comment at every meeting. I want to be clear, we're coming out to the districts to be convenient for you and for the neighborhoods and frankly to learn our way, but there is public comment at every single meeting that we're going to have. Every map that we're going to look at, you'll have almost 10 days to look at as well, the same amount of time as we do, and your comments on that are going to be equally as important as our comments on these things. So please, if you're going to engage. Anyone else?
Yeah,
Mark.
I want to add to that. And when you have a chance to review the map, please take into consideration that there is no malicious intent in any one of us in trying to draw maps and trying to cut precincts or neighborhoods or create islands or that's not the idea of what we're trying to do. And we did this the first time around a few years ago, and I thought we all did a really good job. We tried our best. And my point is, there's no disregard or negligence intended or malicious intent intended. Malicious intent, yeah, intended, I guess. That's not right, but whatever. You can, please, when you look at the maps, try to understand the process that we go through in trying to develop the map and trying to appease or please Pine Hills or please Lockhart, I remember Lockhart, or please Meadow Woods here. And what Mr. Henry said is true. We can't please everybody all the time, but I think every one of us has a good heart and every one of us is trying to do the best we can, and I hope you take that into consideration.
Thank you, Mark. Erica.
Just so I'm sure I'm clear on the process. So Mr. Arias' map will be visible to us all here next Tuesday? Or
no, it should be visible tomorrow.
Tomorrow, but next Tuesday when we come together to discuss the map, it won't be, okay.
We will have it as an informational item next week, and then we won't discuss it until the following week. So there's about a 10-day cycle. Once we publish the map next week, our staff and our attorneys and our consultants will run it through all of their softwares to check compliance with all the various laws. So you give us a map 4 days before the board meeting. We publish it at the board meeting, but it's still online, available for view. It's just not published until we say it, but it's available for view. And then we have a week to review it, analyze it, and then we discuss it at the subsequent meeting.
Okay, and at that subsequent meeting, that map will be visible to us here.
Absolutely.
That's what, okay.
Yep, it'll be on the screens, and we'll be able to show the map, and then just for the record, the presenter of the map has 5 minutes to walk us through that map, tell us what he or she was thinking at the time, why did we do this and why did we do that, and here's what I was trying to achieve. And then following that, we have 15 minutes of conversation amongst us, and what we'll be voting on at that time is, do we disregard the map, just dismiss the map completely, or do we keep it alive for a subsequent meeting? So I think last time, Mark or Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong, about 60% of the maps were rejected for one reason or another, and about 40% survived into our last couple meetings where we started to narrow it down. But right now, if a map meets all the legal requirements and isn't patently offensive to a majority of us, that map will survive into the next subsequent rounds. Now, other members, and Jimmy knows this, he does it a lot, other members can take Mr. Arias's map, copy it, make it their own map, and then make changes, but use his map as a starting point, and then that is their map that they submit. So we can be tweaking off of those maps, which would mean if we like that better, we would subsequently dismiss the prior map.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Yep. Tom.
So let's say we take Mark's map and make some tweaks that we think should be made. Are we able then to show the committee the comparison between the two maps and overlay?
You will at the subsequent meeting when your map, because once you make those changes, that map becomes yours.
Okay.
So at the subsequent meeting when your map is considered, you can say, this was Mark's map, this is my map, here's the changes I made, here's why. Yep. Anyone else? No further comment? Okay, we're getting out early tonight. I want to thank staff. I want to thank Orange TV. Always do a great job. Thank you for being here and supporting us. Thank you to the Supervisor of Elections Office and our commissioners who always come, Commissioner Wilson, Commissioner Uribe, and the commissioners who come from their respective districts, and certainly the mayor for coming and visiting with us tonight. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to adjourn. Rishi, did you need? Oh, you seconded. Okay, so Mr. Affont made the motion. Rishi seconded. All in favor of adjournment, please say aye. Aye. And opposed. I want to point out Ms. Jones was very enthusiastic about her aye.
Down tempo and deep